Do it. Hello. This week, my business partner's house got robbed. My mum got taken to the hospital. We had our biggest week ever for Art of Mondays in terms of applications. We also are about to launch a new event that we've never done before, first of its kind, not just in our company, but I think in the whole industry, and many things in between. So it's been a pretty wild week. If you're new here, well, my name's Evan, and every time I sit down, I talk about what's been going on in my life, one take, raw, the documenting of the journey, so that I can look back on it for years to come, and so you can come along on the journey with me. So I've got some notes here just on what's been happening this week, what I've been thinking about, and I'm excited to share with you today. Let's kick things off. This is Monday Journal 33. All right, so here is the update for what's been happening this week. Just life in general has been a bit all over the place. Last week, I was sitting on a couch in the Dandenong Mountains, the hills just outside of Melbourne, and it was a nice change of pace, really slow compared to what had been going on before. But then all of a sudden, things started to take a turn. We woke up with smashed windows and power had gone out, and there was a little bit of water on the floor leaking from the roof. So either it was a big storm or something else freaky was going on. We did have a suspicion that the place was a bit haunted, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, after that, headed back to Melbourne City, where I caught up with an old mentor of mine, Lauren Oakes. So Lauren was the CEO of Megaphone. She was the fourth person at the company and then stepped into the CEO role and scaled it from 4 people to over 100. The peak, I think it was 120 across 5 cities, 3 countries. And she really drove the culture and the hiring as well for Megaphone. So I worked a lot with her when I was there for a few years, growing the Megaphone marketing department, and finally got to catch up with her and see what she's been up to. There was one moment that was very much a full circle moment and a highlight for mine, because she's recently stepped away from the company. We were talking about the people who had been let go, made redundant after the acquisition of the company, and she asked me if I knew what had happened to Matthias, because she really valued him and she knew he was a weapon of a video editor, and she didn't want him to have nothing. And I kind of gave this little bit of a smile and said, Megaphone no longer has him because I have him. So actually Matthias is now working for us, which is a full circle moment because I brought him onto Megaphone a few years ago from another company. So nice that he is part of the team now, and he's been absolutely crushing it. Matthias, if you're watching, keep up the good work. So I asked her when we sat down a few questions to pick her brain, because now I'm at a stage where Art of Mondays is 20 plus people, and she's been at that stage before. Megaphone grew from 20 to 100 very, very quickly. So I wanted to see what she would do differently, what worked, and what advice she had for me. And a few pointers were, number 1, enjoy the journey. As chaotic as it might be, it's all fun, and we need to look at it that way. So taking that into account. Point number 2 is that Megaphone grew very fast. And Lauren's comment here was almost too fast, because they couldn't hire enough of the right people, the right senior people at the same time, resorting to hiring a lot of junior, and therefore the quality of the product started to drop. So that's something that has flicked a switch in my mind, recognizing that sometimes junior talent, fresh, hungry, ambitious, eager to learn, can be molded into the kind of person we want. Is not necessarily always the best move, and there are roles where it actually makes sense to find someone who is more experienced and maybe has a different outlook, who can bring in a fresh pair of eyes and a fresh perspective on what we're doing. My favorite thing that we spoke about, though, was when I asked about motivating the team, because I think I do a really good job of this, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. And I asked her, how can I be a better leader? And the answer was this: understanding the motivations tied to work is one thing. Understanding motivations to broader life is another. What do people want outside of their job, outside of their role, outside of their 9 to 5? Do they want to travel? Do they want to live a life that allows them to work wherever they want or whenever they want? Do they want recognition and status, or do they want freedom? What are the things that motivate them beyond just being on their laptop. The exercise that came to mind here that I would love to do with the team is getting everyone to do a vision board. Everyone on the team to sit down, block off a day, do a vision board. What do you want your life to look like? Not what do you want your job to look like? What do you want your life to look like? Where are you? How are you feeling? Who's around you? What relationships do you have? And then it allows us to get a bigger picture, a better picture and the bigger picture of what everyone on our team is working towards. And therefore, I know how I can help them. I know how I can motivate them. For example, if Mo, if you're watching, if you wanted to live your 2026 life near the beach, then that's something that I can be mindful of, and I can make sure that if we book a residency near a beach, you're the first one I tell. Maybe we'll make it happen. On a different note, moving away from the conversation with Lauren, thanks Lauren if you are watching this, appreciate the advice. I also really liked how at the end she asked me for advice, which was another full circle moment. But it wasn't all rosy in Melbourne because there was a pretty scary moment. It was the very first night that I was staying at home, at my mum's home, for 8 months, I think. And I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning to the sound of a scream, which is scary enough. Didn't know what it was. Thought it was a neighbor or someone was breaking in. Turned out to be my mum. And long story short, I'll spare you the details, but had to call an ambulance and send her to the hospital. Fortunately, 12 hours later, she was home, she was cleared, and she is doing okay. But that was definitely something I didn't expect. The silver lining is that I was home, and usually she lives alone, and who knows what would have happened if I wasn't there. So the world has a funny way of planning these things. As for right now, well, I'm up on the Gold Coast, as you can see, different scenery to last week. That's Flizzy, Felix in the background, and we've got Ev, Rach, Jai, and Stan here. Stan actually left this morning. He's flying back to London now. Safe flight, dude. And the purpose of coming here is to connect with Alison, who is our partner with Wealth Walks, one of the sister brands to Art of Mondays. There's something going on this week, I'm telling you, because once we arrived, we went over to Alison's place, had a little pool party, met her husband, her son for the first time, and got a lot of the crew together just to connect. Then 12 hours later, I wake up and Jai says, I've got a not so fun fact for you guys. Turns out Alison and Roger's place was broken into that very night. Their 2 cars were stolen, and it wasn't just their house either. It was a series of houses all across the Gold Coast and Brisbane. And despite how intense it was for them, in a way they were fortunate because there were stories of other houses where people were held at knife point and gunpoint. So I'm not sure what's going on, maybe something gang related, but just very fortunate and very grateful that our friends are safe. And Alison's coming over now, actually. She'll be here in about 10 minutes, so we'll hear the full story from her. But as I said, the main thing is that everyone is okay. Otherwise, besides all of those events, we are just here locking in at the beach, and Jai working on a few big picture things, which I'll tell you about soon. And waking up to this view. You want to say hello to the folks?
Hello to the folks.
Can you say this is Monday Diaries, like for the OG fans who watched yours?
This is Monday Diaries.
Sweet. That's probably enough of the updates. I want to tell you a bit about what I've been thinking about lately. I mentioned last week, Ogilvy on advertising, the book I've been slowly getting through over the last year or so. Truthfully, read it in depth for a month, left it back in Australia while I traveled around the world, and then came back home, picked it up again. But there's a few, I love copywriting in general, and there's a few key insights I want to share with you that I feel like could help you, whether you're writing for business, writing for personal, or just in communication in general. These are skills that are really good to have. So I'm going to give you four tangible tips to be a better copywriter. The first is sell the benefits, not the features. So this is a classic marketing. If you have any experience in marketing, you've probably heard this before. But the easiest example, and probably the most used example, is Apple when they came out with the iPod. The feature is 2 gigabytes of storage. The benefit is 100 songs in your pocket at any time. So we're selling the feeling, we're selling the difference that this makes in someone's life. How is someone's life going to be improved by this thing, not just what is the thing? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is write in the way that your readers or viewers or customers speak. So use their language. And an example that Ogilvy used in this book is he had Dove, the soap brand, as a client and came out with a campaign where he said, Dove makes soap obsolete. And it flopped because most of his readers didn't understand the word obsolete. He changed it then to Dove makes soap old-fashioned, and it worked. Tip number 3 is if you're selling expensive products, long-form copy typically works a lot better than short-form copy. And if you want to see an example of this, just go to our Art of Mondays Found a Family homepage because we have used this principle as well. And my personal favorite, and this is one of my own as well, is write so that a 10-year-old can understand it. Keep it simple, stupid, the old KISS analogy or KISS acronym. The average reading level is a lot lower than you think. So keep it simple, make it so anyone can understand. We don't want to alienate any of your readers or viewers or customers by using words that are too big just for the sake of sounding smart. And that's the main area I've been thinking about. I'll share some other things next week in the name of keeping this one short and sweet. So let's move on to the traffic lights, a weekly highlight, learning and challenge. This week's highlight, well, hard to go past waking up every day with a view like this, literally on the beach. It is a privilege, but it's also the benefit of traveling in a group, something that I wouldn't be able to afford on my own, but because there's 6 of us here, we get a place that's a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer, and split the cost, and it becomes actually quite affordable and comparable to rent of a 1-bedroom place for one person. My learning, and this is a useful one for you as well, is check out the Chris Voss Tricks GPT. So it's a custom GPT housed on ChatGPT that is used to, I use it all the time, used for negotiation, sales tactics, and persuasion. If you don't know who Chris Voss is, he's the author of Never Split the Difference, a ex-FBI hostage negotiator who wrote this book about how to get the most out of any situation and get the wins when it appears that there's no win possible. He's got a few good tips. I'll share a couple of them here. Things like if you're negotiating salaries or numbers or prices, use odd numbers rather than even numbers and be specific, because then it makes the person on the other side think that you've put some math into your decisions. Alison's here. She'll say hello as well.
This is our baddie. This is
Resident baddie.
Resident baddie of the Gold Coast. That's the main reason we're here, actually, on the Goldie. Is for Alison. And how long have we been working together for? Ever, you come. You said unawkwardly in the background.
Well, I pitched my business to you, I think, last November.
Yeah.
You came on board in March, possibly. And now you guys are part of the Wealth Walks too.
And we've been grinding.
It's real last 10, yeah.
What's Wealth Walks?
What's Wealth Walks?
Wealth Walks.
One sentence.
Wealth Walks is a global networking business to bring together badass female business owners.
Tip number 2 is make the other person feel like you have their best interest at heart. You're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for them as well. And also using words like fair and are you open to. These have a special effect just based on research and studies that people want to feel like they're making a fair deal and people want to feel like they're open to suggestions. As for my challenge, well, this was a struggle to come up with. I actually don't have too many challenges this week. The honest answer is it's been pretty nice after getting out of Melbourne and the chaos that came with that. It's been slower. The weather's been good, and despite a couple of days of inconsistent motivation, which I'd tie to just lack of sleep from waking up in the middle of the night back in Melbourne and the travel as well, it's actually been pretty good. So for once, I'm not going to dwell on any of the negatives. Now for what you've been waiting for, our business update. Here are the Art of Mondays Founder Family numbers. We are currently at 4,226 applications. That is our record of a week because we had 445 this week, which is insane. Calendars are still full. So if you're wanting to book an interview and it's full, just refresh, come back tomorrow, and we'll squeeze you in if we can. We are at 243 all-time members. The average age is 28, and they're all lifestyle founders. So people who run online businesses and share our values of travel, health, wellness, selflessness, and all that good stuff. As for the other updates, well, I'll give you the small ones first. We brought on a new web developer to help with our app for the Founder Sports Club to ship more features faster to improve the experience. So welcome, Pablo. Good to have you. We hope that that will just make our product a lot better, a lot faster, because the Founder Sports Club has so much potential. We just haven't had the amount of hours and people dedicated to it that we were capable of or that we wanted to. The other update is we celebrated Stan's promotion and his 1-year anniversary with Art of Mondays. So congratulations, Stan. He is now officially, well, his old title was the Swiss Army Knife. We don't really believe in proper titles. Now he is promoted to the Swiss Army Machete. So he does a bit of everything, and he really holds the Found family together. A lot of the back-end stuff, automations, systems, processes, CRMs, that kind of thing. But the thing I'm really excited to talk about is that we are launching a new concept, one that I alluded to at the beginning of this video. I'll reveal the name of this in the next week or two, but here's what I can share right now. It's going to be the first of its kind. It's going to be the first event that we have run of this kind as well. It will be 6 days, 50 to 100 founders, all in one village with big names across the industry, all coming together. It's going to be epic. I cannot wait. It's going to be a logistical nightmare, that's for sure. I can't wait for that. But it's going to be really, I think honestly, it'll be worth the membership alone just to be able to come to this and experience this event. So stay tuned. If you want to learn more and you're not subscribed, subscribe so that I can reveal it in the next video or the one after. And that will be happening mid-2026. As for our partner brands, the major update here is with Wealth Walks. So we recently, I wasn't there, but I was watching and supporting from afar. We ran our first successful Wealth House. So this is kind of like a residency, but in the Wealth Walk style. So shout out to Jules and Allison for knocking it out of the park there. And we also brought on 3 new team members, 3 girls to join our sales team. And the honest perspective here is we chose 3 because we want to bring out some healthy competition and show who rises to the top. So then eventually the one who outperforms will step into a team lead role in the not too distant future. All right, that's it. That's all the updates. Bit of a juicy one. I will leave you with 2 questions to ponder, bringing back this segment from the old episodes. Question number 1. Who do you feel like you've drifted away from recently? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? And question to ponder number 2. What's one thing you keep saying you'll do one day, but you still haven't made a plan for it? Now, how can you start? That's it. Thanks for tuning in to Monday Journal 33. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I appreciate you being here, especially if you made it all the way to the end. You are the true fans. So thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Much love.